The morning sun in Lagos crept lazily into the small one-room apartment where Stella lived with her younger brother, Elijah. The light slipped through the faded yellow curtains, painting the cracked walls with streaks of gold. The air inside smelled faintly of soap and gari, the scent of survival. Stella sat at the edge of their wooden bed, carefully smoothing the lines on her navy blue skirt. It was her best skirt, though patched at the side with needle and thread the night before. Her blouse was white, slightly faded, but freshly ironed with the charcoal irons she had borrowed from a neighbor. She had tied her thick hair into a neat bun, determined to look her best for what could be the most important day of her life. Today was her interview at Z Beauty Global Cosmetics, one of the biggest beauty companies in the country. They were recruiting sales representatives, and Stella, though overqualified with her marketing degree, had her mind set on this opportunity. She had spent weeks rehearsing the answers in front of the mirror. Elijah had even pretended to be the interviewer, throwing random questions at her until both of them collapsed in laughter. She bent to fasten her old sandals when Elijah groaned dramatically from the mattress, stretching like a spoiled prince. His voice was thick with sleep, but his mischief was awake already. "Good luck, sis," he said with a yawn. Then opening one eye and grinning, he added, "Make sure you catch a rich CEO today, or at least a manager. Once you catch them, our suffering is over." Stella looked back at him with mock outrage, shaking her head as she tied her scarf. "I don't need a CEO or a manager, Elijah. What I need is a good job. Once I get that, the landlord will stop shouting. We will eat food that is not only gari, and you will write WAEC and JAMB on time. Wish me luck, Abeg." "Good luck, sis," Elijah said in a more serious tone, sitting up now. Then with a grin he added, "Be careful on your way. Don't go and faint when you see one fine manager." She laughed and leaned down to adjust his rumpled shirt. "Thank you, darling. At least sometimes you know how to behave like a good brother. Make sure you lock the door well when I leave. We don't want rats coming inside to eat our only mattress." Elijah smirked and crossed his arms. "At least it's rats, not thieves. Even if thieves entered, they wouldn't find anything to steal, except maybe that our broken fan, and even that one is shaking like it wants to die." Stella chuckled, shaking her head at his humor. That was Elijah, always able to make her laugh, even in their darkest moments. She kissed the top of his head before stepping out. As she walked to the junction, her heart beat with determination. She told herself again, "This is it. This job will change everything." Meanwhile, across Lagos, Damien, the billionaire CEO of Z Beauty Global Cosmetics, was having one of the worst mornings of his life. His driver had taken the week off, so Damien had decided to drive himself. He wore a crisp white shirt, sleeves rolled, and a blue tie that was already loose around his neck. The meeting with the Korean investors had been planned for months. Billions were at stake. But as fate would have it, his black Jeep coughed and wheezed like a sick old man in the middle of the road. The engine made a sound like a patient with tuberculosis, rattling and dying before his eyes. Damien hit the steering wheel, furious. "Unreliable nonsense. I'll trash this car after today. I can't believe this." He glanced at the time, 10 minutes late already. His chest tightened. He grabbed his leather briefcase, stuffed with the important documents, and jumped out of the Jeep. He locked it quickly without even checking properly and flagged down the first yellow Danfo bus he saw. It was packed, no seats left, so he stood squeezed between two sweaty men. His expensive cologne was no match for the wave of sweat and dust around him. He muttered under his breath, "What kind of suffering is this?" Trash car. Trash morning passengers stared at him as if he was mad. But Damien didn't care. His mind was on the meeting. As the bus approached his company's junction, the conductor banged the metal rail and shouted, "Everybody pay your money! Afolabi bus stop, pay your money!" Damien's hand shot into his pocket. Empty. He checked his other pocket. Empty. He opened his briefcase. No wallet, no card, no phone. His blood ran cold. He had left everything in the other car. Number. No, this can't be happening. He imagined the conductor dragging him down, calling him a thief in public. His face burned at the thought. In front of him, a young woman was pulling out a 1,000 naira note. She handed it to the conductor. Damien swallowed his pride, leaned forward. and tapped her shoulder gently. "Please," he said in a low voice. "I forgot my wallet in my car. My car broke down on the way. Can you help me pay my fare?" Stella turned slowly, scanning him from head to toe. His shirt was damp with sweat, his tie loose, his hair slightly ruffled, but his shoes shone and his wristwatch was not cheap. He didn't look like a beggar. He looked like a man whose morning had betrayed him. Still, she squinted, thinking, is this a new Lagos scam? These people are always full of surprises. The conductor barked again. Stella sighed. "Take 300 naira for the man behind me," she told him. Damien let out a breath of relief. "Thank you. You saved me from embarrassment. I'll pay you back when I see you again." "I promise," Stella shook her head silently, though inside she was mourning her 300 naira. That was her puff and pure water money after the interview. As soon as the bus slowed near his junction, Damien jumped out even before it stopped properly. Stella blinked. "What is wrong with this one? Is he running from ghosts?" she muttered, collecting her change. Then she got down at her own stop, adjusted her skirt, clutched her file, and walked towards the company. The Z Beauty building was grand, all marble floors and sparkling glass. The air conditioning in the lobby hit Stella like a blessing. She walked to the receptionist. "I'm here for the sales representative interview," she said politely. The receptionist barely looked up, just pointed to the elevator. "Third floor, right side, waiting area." Stella thanked her and followed the instructions. She never guessed that the sweaty stranger she had just helped was already on the 15th floor, using a private elevator, preparing to meet the Korean investors. At the waiting area, Stella's confidence wavered for a moment. The other candidates looked like models from glossy magazines. Designer suits, chiffon blouses, killer heels. Her mended skirt and faded blouse felt suddenly too loud, too plain. Two ladies whispered, not so quietly, "Is she here for sales?" "She should dress the part," another chuckled. "Public school people should know their place." Stella straightened her back. Her mother's voice rang in her head. "Walk in with confidence, no matter what you wear." She picked her number, sat down, and ignored their stares. When her turn came, she stepped into the interview room with steady steps. The panel asked questions about sales strategies, product pitching, customer loyalty. Stella answered with honesty, giving examples of how she sold thrift clothes, perfume oils, and bread on campus. Her words were simple but sharp, laced with passion. After 20 minutes, one of the panelists smiled slightly. "Thank you, Miss Stella." "We'll be in touch." Stella walked out, her chest tight. Only then did she realize she had been holding her breath. The cool air of the reception brushed her face. She whispered to herself, "I've done my best. God will do the rest." She had no money for puff now. She used her last 500 naira to go home. Elijah was sitting on the floor, munching gari with groundnuts when she came in. He raised his head. "So did you break legs today?" Stella dropped her bag and smiled weakly. "I think I broke a few." They sat together, dipping groundnuts into the gari. Elijah's eyes danced with mischief. "Did you at least meet any hot manager or CEO?" She rolled her eyes. "Please spare me your CEO nonsense." "I just want you to marry well," Elijah teased, "so we can stop drinking gari every night." She smacked his arm, and soon they were both laughing, gossiping about the interview. She told him about one candidate who puckered her lips like a chicken, another who looked like a pig, and a panel lady whose heels almost betrayed her. Elijah laughed until tears rolled down his cheeks. 3 days later, Stella was hand-washing clothes at the back of the house when Elijah screamed from inside, "Sis, it has happened." She dropped the cloth in her hand. "What has happened?" "Why are you shouting?" Elijah burst out, waving her phone like a trophy. "You got the job." "What?" Stella screamed, grabbing the phone. Her eyes widened as she read the message. She hugged Elijah, and both of them jumped and danced in the compound, shouting until their landlady stormed out. "What is going on? If it's your parents now, you'll be quiet. Now you're shouting like mad people." "Sorry, Ma," they chorused, running back inside before bursting into laughter again. Stella read the appointment letter over and over. Good salary, allowances, growth opportunities. She pressed the phone to her chest. "We will never suffer again." But Elijah had one concern. Sis, you're resuming Monday. Are you going to wear that 1999 skirt? Stella gasped. What do we do now? Simple, Elijah said proudly. We wash clothes for Miss Becky. We clean Mama Tanya's house. They will pay us. Then we go to the market this weekend. Stella hugged him. What will I do without you? Nothing, he smirked. That weekend, they scrubbed floors, washed cars, and cleaned 5 homes. With the money, they went to the Bend-Down Select Market. Stella bargained hard, buying neat secondhand blouses, skirts, and decent shoes. Elijah got 2 shirts and foodstuff. On Monday, Stella resumed, their supervisor, Linda, welcomed the new staff like a drill sergeant. Tall, beautiful, with long nails and a scar on her cheek, her voice cracked like a whip. Sales is the face of this company. You must be punctual. You must look classy. Hair tidy at all times. Her eyes fell on Stella. Yes, you. We don't want your natural hair look here. Get a wig or braids. Change that hair color. I don't like it. Stella's heart sank, but she bowed her head. Yes, Ma. I'll change it when I'm paid. Linda scoffed. Ridiculous. By the time they rang the bell for lunch, Stella felt older than the morning. Her feet ached from the tour. Her head throbbed from too many instructions said too fast in too many corridors. She had smiled and nodded until her cheeks hurt. She had written notes until the ink on her fingers looked like a bruise. The building smelled like lemon and glass, polished, cold, perfect. She felt like a thumbprint on a mirror. She carried her small cooler bag down to the cafeteria and waited in the doorway for a second, letting the noise wash over her. The room glittered, long glass tables, shining floors, big windows throwing warm light over faces that laughed too loudly. Women in chiffon tops and slim trousers moved like a flock of bright birds. Everyone seemed to know where to sit. Everyone seemed to belong to somebody. She walked to the serving counter, collected water, and chose a table by the window, the far end, away from the big laughing groups. She sat and opened her rice and stew. The spoon felt heavy. She told herself, eat, breathe, focus. You have not even started yet. This is only the first day. You did not come here to show fashion. You came here to work. On the next table, a cluster of ladies squeezed their chairs close. They did not look at her. They looked through her. Their voices rose and fell in smooth waves. Is she here for sales? One said, not whispering enough. She should dress the part. Public school people should know their place, another added, adjusting her perfect weave. Why would HR employ someone like her? She should apply for cleaner. Stella kept her eyes on her food. She did not look up. She did not blink too fast. She chewed slowly and told herself the only true thing she knew in that moment. You are not here for them. She counted her breaths, 4 inches, 4 out. She pictured Elijah's silly smile. She pictured the promise she made him. The fees, the exams, the future. She swallowed the sting in her throat as if it were a piece of pepper that had slipped into the stew. At a corner table, a giggle rose, high and short like the chirp of a bird. Ew, someone said. Look at her hair. Stella pressed her lips together. She did not give them the dignity of a glance. She ate, she finished. She packed her cooler bag and walked back to the floor as if nothing had touched her skin. She made it to the end of the day on sheer will. When she pushed open the door of the small apartment that night, Elijah was at the table doing his assignment, a pencil behind his ear like a small professor. He jumped up, eager. So how was your first day? It was fine, she said, and the word fell out of her mouth like a coin dropped in water. Small, quick, quiet. She smiled for him because that was her job too. She bathed and collapsed on the mattress. Tomorrow would be another day. It came, quick and sharp. At 10 that morning during orientation, Linda stopped in mid-speech and pointed. You, yes, you. Her nails were long and red, her eyes like glass. Did I not tell you to change your hairstyle yesterday? Stella stood, heat creeping up her neck. Yes, Ma. I'm sorry, Ma. I will change it by the end of the month when I receive my salary. Ridiculous, Linda said with a cold laugh. Are you telling me you cannot change your hairstyle? Why did HR employ someone like you? Your hair looks dirty. Your countenance looks dirty. Customers do not want people like you. You will remain on desk duty until you change that hairstyle. Stella bowed her head. I'm sorry, Ma. I will change it once I get my pay. I'm really sorry for disappointing you. Sorry for yourself, Linda snapped, and moved on. The words sat on Stella's shoulders like stones. She carried them into lunch, and again she carried her cooler bag to her quiet spot by the window. Again the cliques swarmed together, pulling their chairs close, the way girls in boarding school make circles that have no doors. Voices rose. Perfume trailed. No one left room for her. She opened her food and pretended not to notice the pointed looks. She ate in small, patient bites. She asked herself a question she already knew the answer to. Is this new? Number. You have been the odd one out before 4. You have walked into rooms where you were not invited. Walk through this too. She drank her water, sat still, and held her back straight. A tray slid onto the table across from her. A soft voice followed. Hi. Stella looked up. The girl wore thick-framed glasses and neat braids pulled into a low bun. Her face had the kind of kindness that did not have to announce itself. I'm Amanda, the girl said, smiling as she sat down. Do you mind if I sit here? Stella blinked. I don't mind. Good. Amanda unwrapped a mala and uwadu as if she had always eaten there. She glanced sideways, lifting an eyebrow at the central table. Ignore them, they did the same to me. They even slashed my pay at first. They said customers would not like nerdy people like me. Stella let out a breath that sounded like a laugh. They slashed your pay? Amanda nodded, scooping soup with her spoon, as if talking about rain. For 1 month, I cried every night. Then I decided to stop crying and start saving. You learn. You survive. She leaned in, warm. I'm sorry about what Linda said. She is like that with new people. She thinks fear is a management skill. Thank you, Stella said, the words coming out a bit broken. I am Stella. I know, Amanda smiled. I saw your name on the orientation list. You handled her well. No crying, no arguing, strong. I like that they ate. They talked a little, nothing too heavy. Where do you live? What did you study? Amanda said she went to Unilag. Stella said she did too. That opened a door. They compared notes on lecturers who spoke like thunder and hostels that smelled like a boiling pot of everything. For the first time, lunch did not taste like sand. Do you have a boyfriend? Amanda asked at the end, wickedly casual. Stella almost choked on her water. No, I don't have time for any boyfriend now. You should get one before you start getting old, Amanda teased. Aren't you older than me? Stella shot back, playing along. So you should marry before me. It should be by age. They both laughed. Something small and bright settled in Stella's chest. She had an ally now. From that day, lunch had a seat that was always saved for her, even if it was only by a shy smile and a tray pushed a little to the left. Sometimes, when Amanda could, she brought food from home and made Stella taste everything. Jollof that tasted like a party, stew that tasted like a hug. They told small stories that opened into bigger ones. Amanda told her how the first month felt like drowning. Stella told her how she and her brother learned to make jokes out of empty cupboards so the room would not feel too quiet. On the 3rd day of this new piece, Amanda did not appear at lunch. Linda had sent her on an errand, and Stella, brave with habit now, carried her tray to their table and sat alone. The cafeteria hummed, bright as ever. She was halfway through her food when a shadow fell across her tray. Hello, a male voice said, light and surprised. It's you. Stella looked up and her spoon paused in midair. The man standing there was the man from the bus, the one who had tapped her shoulder and begged her to pay his fare because his car broke down and he forgot his wallet. Only now he looked different. Pressed shirt, neat hair, calm eyes. He carried his tray with the ease of someone who did not have to look around before sitting. She blinked. Oh, hi there, it's you. What a small world, he said, and Joy touched his mouth as if he meant it. You work here? She nodded. Yes, you work here too? Yes, he said. Really? What department? Sales, she answered. And you? He hesitated for a heartbeat, then smiled. Management. Stella's eyebrows rose. Oh, really? That's fantastic. I never thought you work here. I never realized you work here. Oh yeah, I work here, he said, a little laugh escaping. That day on the bus, I was coming for a meeting. A disaster of a morning, he pointed at her food. May I sit? She nodded. He set down his tray. Up close, he looked more put together than the sweaty stranger who had leapt out of a moving bus. There was a clean scent on him, and a focus in his eyes that made him seem older for a second and younger in the next. I didn't even thank you properly, he said. You saved me. Please let me buy your lunch today. I told you I would pay you back when I saw you. It's nothing, Stella said quickly, feeling a flush rise in her cheeks. I'm glad I was able to help you. To be honest, I thought you were a scammer. You know Lagos and their new tricks. He laughed, full and rich. Fair. I must have looked insane, sweating and muttering to myself. A little, she admitted. Please, he insisted gently, let me buy you lunch today. When Amanda returned from her errand and saw them together for the first time, she slid into her seat with a grin that had too much information in it. Who is that guy? She whispered later when he had gone. Who is that fine guy that was talking to you? Stella felt heat in her face. I met him on the bus that morning. His car broke down. He forgot his wallet and phone. I paid his fare. Amanda leaned back impressed. Really? He's such a handsome guy. What department is he in? He said he's in management. Amanda's eyebrows did a small dance. Be careful, she said softly. Management guys are very popular in this company. They have finished all the girls in the sales department. Nothing remaining again. There is nothing left. So be careful. Stella laughed to show she was not the kind of girl who would be carried away. Thank you, she said. I will be careful. But the man kept coming. He did not crowd her. He did not ask for too much. He only made space at lunch that felt like sunshine after a week of rain. He asked about her day, about her targets, about the laughter lines in her text with her brother. When she waved him off with a, "You don't have to keep buying," he shook his head. "I want to," he said, and it sounded simple and true. They became friends. When Amanda could not make lunch, he and Stella ate together and told small stories that grew. On one Friday evening, he sent a message. "Can I stop by tomorrow? I want to bring your brother the game I told him about." She said yes. On Saturday, he sat cross-legged on the floor of their tiny room and played for hours with Elijah, who laughed so hard he nearly fell off the bed. When he left that evening, Elijah flopped beside Stella with a grin that could light a street. "Why don't you just start dating him already? See, this guy likes you. It is a pity he is not a CEO, but he has potential. He is not bad. Not bad at all. We can manage him." Stella smacked his shoulder, trying to hide a smile. "Stop. We are just friends, but he keeps coming here every weekend as if we are owing him rent," Elijah muttered, rolling his eyes. She laughed shyly. Inside, her heart was a careful bird. It had not flown like this in a long time. As the weeks slid into months, Stella's life began to stitch itself into a stronger fabric. The whispers at work still came, but Amanda's loyalty and the man's gentle presence made them feel quieter. Stella learned the product line until she could talk about it in her sleep. She made small sales at first, then bigger ones. She saved a little every month. She paid Elijah's exam fees as she had promised herself. After a while, when her balance was steady and her courage grew, she found a better apartment. Still small, but clean and bright, with a window that caught the morning light. She and Elijah moved their few things with help from a neighbor in a borrowed wheelbarrow. They ate bread and eggs on the floor that first night and laughed because the room echoed back their happiness. At work, people noticed that the man in management always found his way to the sales floor around lunchtime. They noticed that he never stopped to greet anyone else first. Gossip moved like perfume. When Stella passed, a few mouths curled, a few words followed like shadows. It did not matter. Stella stayed steady. She knew what she could control, her work, her smile, the way she treated people who did not yet know her heart. One afternoon after lunch, he asked if she could step out for a quick walk around the block. "Just air," he said, scratching his jaw as if the question made him shy. Outside, the city hummed. Kiki horns, vendors calling, the smell of roasted corn. He kept his hands in his pockets and talked about small things. A new brand display they were testing, the strange joy of fixing a leaking tap by himself, the sound cats make at 2 a.m. that he was sure was a language. She found herself telling him about her mother's voice in her head when she needed courage, about the way Elijah slept with one foot hanging off the bed as if he were in a swimming pool. He laughed in a way that made his eyes fold at the corners. At the corner of the block, under a jacaranda tree that made the pavement purple, he stopped walking and faced her. "I like you," he said, simple as that. No drum, no trumpet. "I have liked you for a while." The world did not tilt. It settled. She felt suddenly calm, like a wave that has found the shore. "I like you too," she said. They stood there for a second, grinning at each other like two students who had just passed a test with their eyes closed. "Can we keep this quiet here?" she asked softly as they walked back. "I don't want them talking about us. They are already saying bad things about me. Please let us keep it on the low for now." He tilted his head, teasing to soften the weight. "Are you hiding me?" "I am not a sugar daddy. I am young." She laughed, pushing his shoulder with two fingers. "I know you are young. I just do not want them to tear me apart with their mouths." "Please," he nodded. "Okay, as you want." He kept his word. He brought her lunch every day. Sometimes they went out to eat in quiet places where no one from the office went. On certain Saturdays, he came by with simple gifts for Elijah. Puzzles, a second-hand game, a book about stars. He stayed to help wash plates. He left before the streetlights came on. He never pushed. He never demanded answers to questions he did not need to ask to enjoy her company. But there was a door he kept closed. When he spoke about his family, he did it in general lines, like a sketch made in the dark. He mentioned a grandmother he adored, a father who was busy, a mother who could talk like thunder. He did not say names. He did not give details. He layered his words with warmth and care, but left the center of them empty, like a room you walk past with the lights off. At first, Stella did not notice it. Then she did. A small worry took a corner in her heart and sat there politely. She did not want to rush him. She did not want to pry and break something delicate. But sometimes when he laughed at something Elijah said, and then stared for a second too long at the wall as if trying to remember where he had put down a heavy bag, she wondered, "What are you hiding, really?" She did not ask. She folded the question with the others and put them away for later. For now, there was work to learn, a friend to thank, a brother to raise, a small new love to water. For now, there was enough light to walk by, and still, somewhere behind all this, the city held its breath, as if it knew a bigger truth that Stella did not. That the gentle man who brought her malt and sat on her floor was not simply management, but the billionaire heartbeat of the company where she sold lipstick and hope. Damien, the CEO of Z Beauty Global. The secret was patient. It waited at the edge of their days, like a wave far out at sea, gathering itself for the moment it would rise. It had been a little over a year since Stella started working at Z Beauty Global, and for the first time in a long while, life seemed to be smiling at her. Her mornings no longer began with counting Gary grains or arguing with Elijah about who finished the last cube of sugar. Instead, she woke early, ironed her clothes, carried her little bag, and headed to the office with a sense of pride. The salary, though not huge, was steady. Rent was paid on time. Light bills, water bills, all settled. Elijah's WAEC and JAMB exam fees were fully covered. The landlord no longer knocked like a debt collector. Stella was breathing freely for the first time in years. But if home was peaceful, the office was another story. Linda, the supervisor, was still the same drill sergeant. She inspected Stella like a soldier inspecting recruits. If Stella's skirt was too simple, Linda frowned. If Stella's hair was natural, Linda barked. If Stella smiled too much at a client, Linda complained. The woman had a gift for making peace feel like war. Still, Stella endured. Amanda, with her glasses and cheerful spirit, became her safe corner at work. During lunch, they laughed about Linda's endless scolding. Amanda teased, "You are glowing, my friend. Don't tell me it is love that is shining your face like coconut oil." Stella laughed nervously. "We are just friends," she said, her cheeks pink. "Friends that buy you lunch every day?" Amanda smirked. "Friends that carry your bag when it's raining? Friends that text you good night and good morning sunshine? My dear, if that is friendship, then may all women have it." They both burst out laughing. Stella swatted Amanda playfully. "We haven't even kissed yet." Stop corrupting me, Amanda screamed. What? Months of dating and no kiss? Ah, sister, you are old school. Stella only blushed harder, hiding her smile behind her hands. Life was good, and Stella thought it would remain so. But life, as it often does, was planning a drama twist. One morning, the entire office buzzed like a disturbed beehive. Posters went up, emails flew around. Z Beauty Global was celebrating its 30th anniversary, and there would also be a grand product launch with foreign investors from Korea, Turkey, and France. The highlight, everyone whispered, was that the CEO himself would attend and give a speech. CEO? The staff chorused. Nobody had ever seen him. Rumors spread like wildfire. Some said he was in London, others said America. A few swore he was a very old man who never left his mansion. Everyone panicked. The cleaners scrubbed walls till they shone. Receptionists polished their desks as if the CEO would eat from them. Staff ironed suits, bought new wigs, changed hairstyles every week. Even Linda dyed her hair and changed lipsticks 3 times in one day, just in case the CEO looked her way. But Stella had no extra money to spend. She told herself, the CEO is not coming to see me. I'll wear my best clean dress, polish my old shoes, and apply lip gloss. That is enough, Linda, of course, had something to say. Stella, I swear if you wear those grandmother shoes, I will deal with you in this department. If you must borrow clothes, borrow. Sales must sparkle that day. Stella only smiled politely. She was used to Linda's noise by now. The day arrived. The company hall was transformed into a palace, chandeliers glittering, gold drapes flowing, perfumes filling the air. Foreign guests took their seats. Cameras flashed, staff whispered, adjusted ties, and crossed legs as if the CEO might fall in love at first sight. The managing director went on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our CEO. Silence. Every neck stretched. Every heart pounded. Then he walked in. It was Damien. Stella's Damien. The same man who sat on her living room floor eating eBay and okra soup. The same man who once borrowed 300 naira for bus fare. The same man who texted her, "Good morning, sunshine." Stella froze. It was as if someone poured cold water on her. Her hands trembled. Amanda's eyes almost popped out of her head. My sister, Amanda whispered sharply. Did you see that? Your boyfriend is the CEO, the almighty CEO. Stella couldn't move. She stared as Damien gave his speech with confidence and charm. Staff clapped, ladies adjusted their wigs, men admired his suit. But Stella only felt her heart breaking. When the applause ended, she slipped quietly out of the hall. She rushed home, locked herself in the bathroom, and cried. Have I been dating a stranger? Why didn't he tell me? Why did he lie to me? Her heart ached with anger and betrayal. The next morning at work, whispers filled the air. She seduced him. She has been sleeping with the CEO. That's how she got this job. Gold digger. They ignored the fact that Damien had always been among them in disguise. All arrows pointed at Stella. Linda's eyes burned with envy. Colleagues avoided her. Others mocked her with fake smiles. Stella kept her head down. She told herself, if they want him, they can take him. I am tired. When Damien sent for her, she refused. Tell him I'm busy, she said firmly. He came himself. Why have you been ignoring me, he asked softly. Good afternoon, sir, she replied, eyes down. He winced. Sir? Is that what I am to you now? Please, let me do my work. I am just a junior staff. I don't want more rumors. Her words stabbed him. He left, but his face was clouded with pain. That evening, Damien drove his sleek car to her house. Elijah nearly fainted when he saw it. Wait, did you buy this? Loan? Miracle? Brother-in-law, what is going on? Damien chuckled. It's my car. Where is your sister? She has been sulking all day, Elijah whispered dramatically. But go in. Only you can cure her headache. Damien knocked gently, then entered Stella's room. She lay on the bed, eyes swollen from crying. Stella, he said softly, I know I messed up. I should have told you the truth. But I was afraid. I wanted someone to love me for me, not for money. You are that person. Please forgive me. Her voice was sharp. You lied to me. Do you know how embarrassed I feel? Everyone is calling me names. He knelt by her bed like a child. I'm sorry. I swear I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you. Please don't leave me. You are the best thing in my life. Stella's heart melted. She loved him. She couldn't deny it. Slowly, she took his hand. I forgive you. But what now? You are my boss. People will talk, let them talk, he said firmly. You are mine. I will never hide you again. Elijah, eavesdropping at the door, burst in with excitement. So it is true. My sister is dating the CEO. Call me Prophet Elijah the Great. I saw it coming. Stella threw a pillow at him. Get out. But for the first time that week, she laughed. The next morning, her phone buzzed. I'm outside. Are you ready? She thought it was a joke until she stepped out and saw Damien leaning against his car, smiling. What are you doing here? She gasped. Taking my girlfriend to work. Are you mad? Do you want them to finish me with gossip? Let them gossip. You're mine, he opened the car door, and before she could protest, he drove her to the office. When they arrived, he got out, held her hand, and walked her in. Gasps filled the building. Mouths dropped. Some clutched their wigs in disbelief. At the sales department, Damien winked at Stella. See you later, baby. The gasp that followed could have blown the roof off. Amanda nearly fainted with laughter. This is legendary. My friend, the CEO's girlfriend. Stella groaned. Amanda! Why did you tell the people about us? Amanda covered her face. Champagne loosened my tongue. Forgive me. But at least now the whole world knows. I expect a promotion soon. News traveled fast. Damien's mother, Victoria, heard and boiled with fury. She called him immediately. Damien, what nonsense am I hearing? A sales rep? Do you want to drag this family name in the mud? Mother, she is not nonsense. She is the woman I love. I will marry her. What about Jennifer? I do not love Jennifer. Do not force me. He ended the call, but Victoria's anger only grew. She picked up her phone and called a manager. Find out everything about that girl. HR should dig up her file. I want her address, her history, her family, everything. The knock that shook everything. A few days later, Stella and Elijah were in their small living room, the flickering TV light bouncing on their faces. It was a cool Thursday evening, the kind of evening when the noise of Lagos traffic had quieted down, replaced by distant laughter from neighbors and the smell of roasted corn drifting through the window. Stella sat cross-legged on their worn sofa, absent-mindedly scrolling through the channels, while Elijah stretched out on the floor with a pillow, chewing ground nuts noisily. Pass me the remote, Elijah said, mouthful. No, you've been watching football since afternoon, Stella teased, hugging the remote to her chest. I just want to check highlights, Elijah protested. You mean you want to watch Arsenal lose again? Stella smirked. He gasped dramatically, clutching his chest. Sis, your words are sharper than knife. Don't insult my club, please. Stella chuckled and shook her head. Peaceful evenings like this were rare and she was enjoying it. But just then, knock, 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 a loud knock echoed from the front door. Both of them froze. They weren't expecting anyone. Damien was out of town for a business meeting. Amanda had texted earlier that she was buried under reports, and their uncle lived far away. Elijah slowly got up, his playful face now cautious. I'll check, he said, tiptoeing toward the door. He opened it and froze like a statue. His eyes grew wide. Sis, his voice trembled. Someone is here to see you. He stepped aside and Stella looked up. Two women stood at the door. One was middle-aged, richly dressed, but in a way that screamed rich taste. Heavy jewelry clinking, bright blouse stretched across her shoulders. The other was younger, graceful in posture, with expensive shoes and carefully laid hair. They looked like people from another world entirely, polished and intimidating. Stella got up quickly and greeted politely. Good afternoon, Ma. Who are you looking for, and how may I help you? The older woman sneered, scanning Stella from head to toe with disgust. Help me? Do I look like I need your help? She spat. Stella blinked, confused. I'm sorry, Ma. The woman stepped closer, her perfume filling the room. So you are the thing my son is frolicking with in the office? Her voice was sharp, every word dripping with venom. Don't you know your place? You, this thing, dare to dream above your level? My dear, let me tell you, I am his mother and I will never accept you. You don't belong in our world. Stella's lips parted in shock. His mother? The woman pointed to the younger lady beside her, who had been quiet all along. This is his fiancée. Do you understand? His fiancée. The one who belongs to him, not you. So please, take your miserable life elsewhere. As of this moment, your appointment has been terminated. You will not work in my company, and you will not see my son again. If I ever set eyes on you near him, I will deal with you. You will disappear from this world, and nobody will ever find you. Elijah's jaw dropped. He clenched his fists, but Stella placed a trembling hand on his arm. Ma, who exactly are you, Deli? Stella managed to whisper. You don't need to know who I am, the woman snapped. Stay away from my son. Stay away from Damien. He is already engaged. The name hit Stella like a hammer. Damien. She almost collapsed on the spot. Damien? Engaged? Her chest felt tight, her hands clammy. She tried to form words, but nothing came out. The mother and the supposed fiancé glared at her a moment longer, throwing a few more insults, mocking her small apartment, mocking Elijah's torn shirt, and then turned and left. The door shut, leaving silence heavier than thunder. Elijah turned to his sister, bewildered. Sis, what's going on? Who is that woman? And why did she say Damien is engaged? Sis, answer me now. But Stella couldn't speak. She sat down, staring blankly at the wall. Her whole body shook with disbelief. Engaged? Fired? Threatened? She fumbled for her phone and dialed Damien's number. It rang once, then the robotic voice came. The number you're trying to reach is not available. She tried again. Same result. She called the office line, hoping maybe Amanda would answer. But the CEO had traveled to an island for business. No one could reach him. That night, Stella lay on her bed, staring at the ceiling. Sleep refused to come. Elijah snored softly beside her. But even in his sleep, his fists were clenched like he was ready to fight anyone who hurt his sister. By morning, Stella dressed carefully and went to work, her heart heavy. She told herself maybe it was all a misunderstanding. But when she reached her office floor, her worst fear came true. Her desk was empty, cleared out. Before she could ask questions, the clicking of high heels announced Miss Linda's arrival. The supervisor's smirk was sharper than a knife. Hey, you, Linda barked. Did you not get the letter from HR? Stella turned slowly. Letter? What letter, Ma? You are fired, Linda said with relish. You have been fired. You are no longer an employee of this office. Your desk has been cleared. Go to the locker room, pick your filthy items, and leave. This is what you get when you try to climb ladders not meant for you, when you try to be overambitious. Get out. The words cut deeper than blades. Stella's throat went dry. She looked around. Some colleagues whispered behind their palms. Some chuckled openly. Nobody defended her. Only Amanda rushed forward, grabbing her hand. Don't mind them. I'm sure it's a misunderstanding. Damien's not around now, but when he comes back, he'll sort this out. Don't cry. Stella couldn't even answer. She packed her few belongings, each item feeling heavier than a stone, and walked out. Laughter and sneers followed her down the hall. On the bus ride home, she sat frozen, the city noise muffled by the storm in her chest. She pushed open her door, hoping for comfort, but instead her heart shattered further. The apartment was wrecked. The small TV they had been managing, broken. Their plates and pots, smashed. Clothes scattered everywhere, books torn apart. Elijah's precious laptop lay in pieces on the floor, and on the table, a note scrawled in red ink. Disappear or I will make you disappear. You and your miserable brother, Stella gasped. Elijah, just returning from lectures, rushed in and stopped dead. What happened here? His eyes darted across the ruins. He fell to his knees, lifting his broken laptop. No, all my notes, my books, everything is gone. Tears streamed down his face. Stella pulled him into her arms. Don't cry. Don't worry, we'll be fine, she whispered. But even her voice shook. Inside, she wasn't sure. Nothing felt fine. That night, as Elijah slept fitfully, Stella made her decision. She couldn't continue like this. She hadn't asked to date a CEO. She hadn't asked for drama or wealth. She only wanted peace. If being with Damien meant endless threats and danger for her brother, then it wasn't worth it. She picked up her phone and called her uncle in Ogun State. "Uncle," she said, voice breaking, "we're coming home." Her uncle was silent for a moment. Then his gentle voice came through. "My daughter, don't worry. Come home. You and Elijah will be safe here. Lagos is tough, but you don't have to suffer. Elijah can go to university here in Ogun." Just come the next morning, Stella and Elijah packed what little remained of their lives into bags. With heavy hearts, they boarded a bus and left Lagos behind. Stella sat by the window, holding Elijah's hand, tears rolling silently down her cheeks. She was leaving everything behind, but at least, she told herself, she was choosing peace. A few days later, Damien returned from his business trip. The first thing he did was head straight to Stella's apartment, but when he got there, he found the place empty. "Where are they?" he asked a neighbor. "They moved out," the neighbor replied simply. Damien tried calling Stella. Her line was switched off. He tried again. Nothing. He went to the office the next day, hoping to see her at her desk, but her seat was empty. By evening, panic filled his chest. He called Amanda into his office. "Where's Stella?" Amanda sighed, her face heavy, and she told him everything. How his mother had stormed into Stella's house, how she insulted her, how she claimed Damien was engaged, how hoodlums trashed her house, how Stella was fired, humiliated, and finally fled to Ogun with Elijah. Damien's fists shook with fury. He didn't even wait. He drove straight to his parents' mansion. "Mom," he thundered as he stormed in. "How could you do this?" His mother blinked, feigning innocence. "Do what?" "Don't play games with me," Damien roared. "You destroyed the only woman I have ever loved. You had her fired, threatened, and driven away. She didn't even know I was CEO. She loved me for me, and you ruined it." His mother's face hardened. "Son, listen. You cannot marry her. She is not from our world. She is an orphan. Her uncle is a poor teacher in the village. Is that the kind of woman you want to marry? Think about our family name." "Yes," Damien barked. "She is exactly who I want to marry. Because unlike the rest of this shallow world, she saw me, not my money, not my title. If you won't accept her, then forget about me." "I'll leave with her," his mother gasped. "Over my dead body!" Damien's father tried to intervene weakly, but Damien had already made up his mind. He knew there was only one person who could stop his mother, the matriarch, his grandmother. The next day, Damien went to her house, eyes red, voice heavy. "Grandma, I love a girl, but Mom has destroyed everything. She won't let me be with her. Grandma, please help me." His grandmother's eyes blazed. "What? Your mother did that? In this family? While I am still alive? Follow me." She grabbed her bag and stormed into Damien's parents' mansion like a hurricane. "Where is that girl? Where is that foolish girl?" she shouted. Damien's mother paled. "Mama, please." "Shut up," Grandma roared. "When you married into this family, what did you bring? Did you bring gold, silver, even pure water? You brought nothing but your two left legs, and I accepted you because my son loved you. But now you look down on others? How dare you?" Damien stood in a corner, biting his lip to keep from laughing as his mother shrank under Grandma's fury. Grandma pointed at both parents. "You will apologize to that girl. You will bring her back, or I will disinherit you both from my wealth. Do you hear me?" They both knelt down immediately, begging. But when Grandma left, Damien's mother hissed at him. "So you went to report me to your grandmother? This is not over." That same week, Damien, his parents, and his grandmother traveled to Ogun. Amanda had given them the address. They arrived at Stella's uncle's modest home. Elijah opened the gate, spatula in hand from helping in the kitchen. The spatula clattered to the ground. "Uncle! Sis, come and see! Father Christmas has come to our house," he shouted. Stella, cooking in the kitchen, froze. Her uncle, reading the newspaper, frowned in confusion. "Father Christmas? What are you talking about?" Elijah pointed at the visitors. "I don't know if there is trouble or greetings, but Santa Claus is here with bodyguards." Stella walked out, and her breath caught. Damien stood there with his family. His grandmother smiled warmly, but his mother's face was tight with forced politeness. "Are you not going to open the gate for us?" Grandma barked. Flustered, Stella let them in. Her uncle greeted them politely, though his eyes held questions. Grandma wasted no time. "We came to marry your niece," she declared. Stella gasped. "What?" Her uncle coughed, bewildered. "Marry my niece. Just like that?" "Yes," Grandma said firmly. "She and my grandson love each other. So we have come to do the needful." Her uncle turned to Stella. "Do you know them?" She hesitated. Elijah, ever the clown, piped up. "Yes, uncle, we know them. He's her boyfriend. They've been dating since." "Elijah," Stella hissed. Her uncle pressed again. "Stella, do you know him?" After a long pause, she whispered, "Yes, uncle. I know him." "Good," her uncle said. "Go inside. Let me talk to them." Inside the room, Elijah grinned. "Sis, it seems like you are getting married soon." "Can you please keep quiet?" she snapped, pacing. "What are you thinking again?" He said he's here to marry you. After all, you suffered. Now CEO has come to carry you. Please don't send him away. I'm tired of suffering. Have you forgotten how his mother insulted us? Stella hissed. Do you want more trouble? I don't care about trouble, Elijah said. I care about jollof rice at your wedding. Stella smacked his arm with a pillow, but her heart raced with confusion. Finally, her uncle called her back. Your suitor and his family have spoken. They apologized for what happened. They say he loves you and wants to marry you. Do you love him? Do you want me to accept? Stella looked at Damien. He gave her a sheepish smile. His mother's face was stiff, but his grandmother's eyes were glowing with encouragement. Say yes, Grandma whispered. Stella swallowed hard. Yes, Uncle, she said softly. Good, her uncle nodded. Then it is settled. The family left soon after, promising to return for proper introductions. But as Stella sat on her bed that night, her heart was restless. Damien hadn't spoken a word to her. He just left with his family, leaving her with questions swirling like a storm. She unblocked his number, waiting for his call, but the phone stayed silent. She didn't sleep. Her mind spun between fear, excitement, and anger. Was this love or was it another trap? And so the night stretched long as Stella waited for an answer that refused to come. Stella had been awake all night. She kept staring at her phone screen, waiting for Damien to call, but he didn't. It was as if he was deliberately enjoying torturing her with silence. Morning met her with eyes wide open, swollen from restless tossing, her heart tight with confusion. She couldn't decide if she was angry, scared, or simply broken. Then suddenly, ping, her phone screen lit up. Her heart jumped. She snatched the phone like a mad woman, hands shaking as she opened the message. Good morning, wifey, it read. Hope you slept well. How is my brother-in-law and my uncle? Have a nice day. Love you. She froze, staring at the words, and then slowly, her lips curved. A smile. A real smile, the first in weeks. Tears of relief welled up in her eyes as she clutched the phone to her chest. Elijah, rubbing his eyes and yawning loudly, staggered into the room. Sis, why are you smiling like you just won a lottery? Did someone dash you money? Stella tried to hide her face, but he snatched the phone before she could react. He read the message aloud, stretching each word. Good. Morning, wifey? He gasped dramatically, spinning in circles. Ah, Sister Stella, CEO has promoted you from girlfriend to wife overnight. Somebody shout, fire, fire. Stella burst out laughing despite herself, chasing him around the room for the phone. Elijah ducked and dodged, still teasing. Wifey, wifey, make breakfast for me. Oh, I'm the official brother-in-law now. Her cheeks burned, but her heart felt lighter than it had in days. That afternoon, Damien called. For the first time in weeks, his voice poured through the line like water on dry land. Stella, he said softly, I'm sorry. She closed her eyes, breathing in the sound of his voice. I'm sorry for how my mom treated you. I'm sorry she told you I was engaged. I am not engaged, Stella. You're the only one I want to be engaged to. I had to call my grandma for help. She intervened because you're the one I want to marry. Please believe me. I'm sorry I wasn't there when you needed me the most. I was stuck on that island, no service, no way to reach you. I hate that you went through all of this alone. Please forgive me." Silence hung between them. Stella pressed her fingers to her lips, fighting tears. Finally, she whispered, "I forgive you." Damien exhaled, the relief audible. Later that evening, her phone rang again. She answered and nearly dropped it when she heard the warm, crackling voice. "My daughter," Grandma's voice boomed, full of affection. "How are you?" I said. "Let me check up on you. I hope you have not changed your mind about marrying my grandson. He told me you are a good girl. My grandson loves you. Please take care of him for me." Stella's throat tightened. She had never been spoken to like this, like she was wanted, accepted. "Thank you, Ma," she whispered. "Don't thank me," Grandma laughed. "Just prepare to be my daughter-in-law. Don't worry, I will scatter the world if anyone troubles you again." The call ended, leaving Stella both overwhelmed and deeply comforted. And then, as though the floodgates had opened, even Damien's father called the next day. His voice was awkward, but kind. "My daughter, I just want to say, forgive us. You will be our wife soon. God bless you." The mother never called, of course. But Stella didn't care. The father's call, the grandmother's support, Damien's persistence, these were enough. Days stretched into weeks. Stella decided not to return to Lagos immediately. She had started teaching at the small primary school in her uncle's town, and she found joy in the children's laughter and scribbled drawings. For once, life was calm. Damien begged her to come back. "Come and resume work, please. Everything is waiting for you." But Stella shook her head gently. "Not yet. I want to breathe. I want to be sure of myself before I return." And surprisingly, Damien didn't push. He respected her decision, calling every night, texting every morning, loving her from a distance. Then a few weeks later, it happened. Damien's family returned, this time with relatives, friends, and items stacked in colorful baskets. They came to her uncle's home with yam, rice, oil, drinks, fabrics, and envelopes, the traditional bride price. Elijah nearly fainted at the sight. "Sis, they brought the whole shop right. Should I bring extra chairs for all these things?" The compound filled with chatter, laughter, music. Grandma was there, beaming like the sun, directing everyone. Damien's mother kept her face stiff, but she smiled when Grandma glared at her. The traditional rites were performed, blessings given, and by the end of the day, Stella had officially become Damien's wife-to-be. A week later, they held their wedding in Lagos. It was nothing short of grand. The hall sparkled with gold drapings, chandeliers rained light across the guests, and music thundered as Stella walked in with grace. Damien's eyes never left her. Elijah, of course, stole the show. He marched around proudly in his suit, announcing to anyone who would listen, "That's my sister. CEO's wife. Who's your own sister? Bank cashier, local trader?" "Sorry-o." The guests laughed endlessly at his antics. When the vows were exchanged, Damien's voice cracked with emotion. "I promise to love you, Stella, through every storm. You are my miracle." And Stella, her eyes glistening, replied, "I promise to love you, Damien, not for your money, not for your title, but for the man I met on a bus." Grandma clapped so hard, her rings jingled. Even Damien's mother, though tight-lipped, had no choice but to bless the union. After the honeymoon, Damien kept his promise. He didn't just make Stella his wife, he made her his partner in business. He handed her an appointment letter. "Congratulations, Director." Her jaw dropped. "Director?" "Yes," Damien said with a grin. "Director of Sales. You've earned it." Linda nearly collapsed when she heard the news. The same woman who had mocked Stella, called her filthy, and sneered at her skirts, now had to answer "yes, ma" whenever Stella gave instructions. Amanda, on the other hand, got promoted to manager. She hugged Stella, tears in her eyes. "I told you things would work out." Elijah's dream also came true. Damien sponsored him to study at his dream university. Elijah couldn't stop boasting to his classmates. "My brother-in-law is a CEO. He can buy your whole hostel." As for their uncle in Ogun, Damien insisted he move to Lagos with them. But the uncle smiled and shook his head. "I like my life here. It's quiet. I don't want Lagos noise. But thank you, my children." So Stella and Damien renovated his house instead, bought him a car, and placed him on a monthly allowance. "For all you did for us," Stella said, hugging him. Life transformed. The once orphaned girl, mocked and trampled, became the wife of a CEO and director of a multi-billionaire company. She and Grandma became inseparable, partners in laughter, in secrets, in defending each other from Damien's mother. The mother? Powerless now. She smiled through her teeth whenever she saw Stella, but deep down she knew she had been defeated. At night in their new home, a mansion gifted by Grandma, Stella and Damien often curled up together, reliving their journey. Do you remember, Damien laughed one night, how I begged you for 300 naira on that bus? Stella giggled, leaning on his chest. If I knew you were a CEO, I would have charged interest. They both burst out laughing. Damien kissed her forehead, his voice tender. I'm happy I met you. She looked into his eyes, her heart full. I'm grateful the universe brought you my way too. I love you, husband. And as they held each other under the quiet Lagos night, their laughter carried softly through the house, a reminder that love, though born in chaos, had finally found its peace. Thank you for watching. What do you think of this story? Let me know of your thoughts in the comment section below. Until I bring another intriguing story your way again, bye for now.